Mashiach. Hashem Hashem because, first of all, this is Sukkah begins now. And Sukkah is the combination of Hashem's name. Secondly, Hashem Hashem because when a Jew has to show commits a sin, Kaviyachol is targeted, he makes a defect, Kaviyachol in the Shekhinah. Shekhinah is the name of Hashem. Hashem Echad, and Shmai Echad. Hashem, his name is the Shekhinah, he's targeted Kaviyachol in the Shekhinah. When a Jew places the Shama, he gets rid of that Aveda, so the Yerushalmi becomes Tahor, becomes purified, and the Mela, the Begam, the Kaviyachol, the Begam, leaves the Shekhinah, and no longer has this Begam. So when the Shekhinah is true without the Begam, it's called Shem Hashem, because the name of Hashem, the Shekhinah has, the Aliyah is focused and so high. Therefore, because this is Shem Hashem, he says very clearly that Hashem expects, this time he expects of people. Hashem says, you came to me filled with all this disgraceful stains that cause bleeding Kaviyachol by the Shekhinah. Came to me and I cleansed you of it on your Kippur. You needed me. I had to get rid of all this load. Now I want to test you. The day after Yom Kippur, then says it's a test. To see if you meant it sincerely, to see how early you come to shul after Yom Kippur. That's what it says. Shekhinah getting up early, the day after Yom Kippur, that proves that a person meant it sincerely because he doesn't count Hashem only has to have a favor. Just like this too. We could have had a second million today very easily. That's lining it up. We also have a Kiddush today. Runner of the outside Shulchan, one of the most famous rabbis in America at this time, meeting in Chicago and then in York. So we come now to the dinner of Sukkot. The mitzvah is to build the sukkah if one can, one cannot. At least to, not at least, but there's no getting away. The person must eat the sukkah. It's compulsory for every person to eat the sukkah at least a certain minimum of meals. So you have to eat there the first day, and the second day, there is a mitzvah to eat, though it is not Easter, it's not the heavy penalty for not doing so. This is just, I'll say it as a penalty because the first day being the Isa, the first night especially, the person must eat there, even if he doesn't want to eat it all. The person gets out and says, he didn't finish, I want to fast today. Or just take a drink of water. The person's going to be healthy, just like there is a mitzvah Sunnah Shabbos. You cannot say, I want to forego it, you have the right to do so. You must eat the meal in the sukkah. You must eat the meal of Yom. Since you must eat the meal, you must eat in the sukkah on the first day. The rest of sukkahs, the Tikuney Zohar says, and the only person who will agree with him, there is a separate mitzvah in the Torah, in the Isa, to eat in the sukkah every one of the rest of the days of sukkah, between 6 and 80 days, all 7 days, you must eat in the sukkah. Of course, he said the 8 days. Now, the question is that we do not eat on the 8th day, and yet says it's a very controversial topic. We'll take it up much later on. Well, you have a lot of criticism for that criticism. Discuss that later on because it's a basic rule in which there seems to be a big battle. Every year there's always somebody who comes along. Some dragon has to be slain. So it's important to know the details there. Take a look. The reason for the mitzvah of sukkah is because of the fact that the Jews in the midbar were underneath the sun, underneath the baking sun. You know what the sun's like in the midbar. You know what the midbar is. Midbar Sinai, we have so much about it today. And we keep reading stories about soldiers there, how they suffer under the sun. At the end, divided nation soldiers who are stationed there perhaps to also suffer under the sun. So the Jews were there for 40 years. Imagine it's a pretty trying experience. Therefore, I should read to them sukkahs. Because the sukkah clouds, special clouds, cloudy day, it's going to be depressing. You should have the sun out, the right over the Jews, there were clouds that protected them from the heat of the sun. And this is the miracle, these clouds. The reason why we now, remember that have the mitzvah of sukkah during these days. Why it is during the time? Because it's the season when people are used to going into their house, and sometimes you go out, hot. Now when the seasons change, they start going into the house. At that moment we go out to show that we're doing this for the sake of mitzvah, not because of appointment. Of course we know what the mention of the schools of tzadikim. There were 3 tzadikim who benefited the Jews during the stay in the Midbar. They were Moshe Feinstein, R Nosson, and Miriam Leviah. All 3 born from Amram and Yaakov. Imagine, Menachem these 3 benefited the Jews with their schools. Moshe Feinstein gave the schools of the one, because of the people that came from heaven. R Nosson came the clouds and covered over the Jews for protection. Miriam and Leviah came the well of water, traveled with them throughout the whole stay in the desert. When I don't know if Leviah was stomach, Moshe Feinstein was big enough, his schools continued. We find this in the later posek. It says, "Ki be'onon dira Hashem aleim." I'm not sure it's in my saying. It's said that it's not being about too much time. Then he goes, "Ki be'onon dira Hashem aleim." Cloud Hashem appeared over them. Then he goes, say this posek. That means, onon, cloud, it was supposed to dira Jesus Aharon. And I kind of that's how it's really appeared. Of course, at least I think we should make it upon us to the kiruv, sukkah, shel, v'yachid. Sukkah will have Mashiach comes in Hashem by obeying the mitzvah right. We have to resolve, of course, to get the mitzvah done. Next, there are also dinner about the 4 minutes. That's like a little so we should discuss it much. Mitzvah, we said to build a sukkah immediately after Kippur, and also these cloud. We're busy with the preparation for mitzvah, also busy with preparing the Daled Binan, buying the lulav, the rabbis Hassan, this usually well before. Plus being busy, these are considered days that are like semi-preemptive. In addition to this, the days of Shalom, this is when they celebrated the renewal of the Beis Hamikdash. Of course, this is like half of a holiday. We do not say kaflu during these days, and people are in general very light-hearted. In some sense, light-headed too. And there's a medrash which probably the cause. The medrash which is universally many people mistake it, misinterpret it, and so it's misinterpreted. I've heard this from Gedolim, but the Gedolim means those who are humble, not Gedolim for a great thing. Humble, great people who said it, who meant it, and yet no harm taken. Then it says that posek. Although the stuff comes in all forms, either from garbage and should be in the stuff. Oil, Arab oil. So, he just died. Rabbi says that there's a posek in foolish, which says, by sukkahs, Rishon first. What is first in sukkahs? Or in the day. So we have the word Rishon. So it says this Rishon is Rishon Cheshbon HaLodos. The first day for the reckoning of sins. The person commits a sin, the sin is recorded in heaven on his account. So this is the first day of the year when sins are recorded, which means seems to imply, and anybody can make a mistake that way, that the sins are only erased on Yom Kippur. That's the 10th day of Tishrei. You walk home too clean, Now, a person goes home that night, and inadvertently or intentionally he does something wrong. He doesn't say the right bracha for parents something. That is now recorded as his first sin for the new year. That would be known. But, in fact, he goes no further. When he gets through with Nima, and he turns around and starts talking and doing things that are wrong, he already did something slightly wrong. That's why we understand you finish Nima, you blow shayfa, you're great, tops, say Shema Yisrael, you're dead already. So, and you go to David Marav, you begin Marav, we committed sins, what are you talking about? What are you lying about? When you commit sins, you just finish in kippur. You go to Sachmanish, knocking yourself out. The answer is that there's so much time to do sins, and that's one thing. So easy. It's so easy. I want to thank other Nishman, Chas Hashem to call a sin, compared to what we do. And second, is let's not talk today about Jews, even about ourselves. We're all good, right? We're all perfect. Still, a person does something wrong right after the evening, says Lachman. A person does something wrong, gets home. That's normal. We hope, of course, that it doesn't happen. Now, according to the Midrash, it means that that's not what's recorded as the first sin. That's sort of a bonus. Three rows. That, the night, the day, 15th day of Tishrei. You don't want us to look. Never happened. All the traffic can't fit. The traffic is open with a change of mind. 15th day of Tishrei, 5 days after Yom Kippur, that's when the Medrash says, the first day when they start recording sins. In between, the sky's the limit, do whatever you want. That's what I recall. I'm talking about not now, we got this generation of great geniuses here. But when I was about 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, I recall these words being said. Like that. Who were very humble and very modest and very sincere, who said it very humbly. This is the fact that there's no sins recorded. Whatever you do is free. Whatever you do whatever you want, anything. Yeah. How come you do that? What should you do is sin? That's the. For them it wasn't a damaging idea, but this is an error. It is written that way, of course, in the Israeli which explains that the person was tzadik. It is an error that's taken up so that these days, even according to the Medrash at least, let's say that it's not that serious, but surely these days are something extra special. It means at least that the person should last at least 5 days. Granted, at least go 5 days without doing anything wrong. Should be the average. Less than a week even. Not doing anything wrong. First special should ever comes to the Sukkot, which means no chayt because he does commit sins and yontifus. Like days off. Days off for sins, holidays. So that's why these days are. This is why the person should occupy himself, try with mitzvahs, good deeds, and so on. In fact, this means every kind of mitzvah. The person should, for a change, break off relations with the Sultan, with the Sahara. House him all along, it's about time you let him go. Send him off to the Goyim instead of themselves. We don't need him. We should have become so close to Hashem by now, in the days of Teshuva, that we lost interest in the Sahara, its sins. There's no more tithing. It's not such a big desire. We see that the whole thing was false. So, that's why these days we should be zeichet to end this, adopt the solutions we made in Teshuva. Let's go back to sinning more Chas Hashem, and to push it, daven better, learn more, do the mitzvahs. These are all said all climaxed by Erev Sukkot. These are gathered tzedakah throughout the year. Erev Sukkot is when he made a great move, great splash, and spreading the tzedakah. A very important reason to Kabbalah. To chapter 2, accomplished this by Erev Sukkot because Sukkot's event is the peak. Peak because there's no greater height than the machshava. Sukkot. That's Sukkot's called God's in Chassidut. he reached the greatest point of blessing the Seder, and he was which was never taken to the field. He did say Teshuva Shleima, and the Teshuva should be the Ahava, the deep of Hashem. So that Teshuva, which is never to the true blessing the Seder, he has got second head up me. Special mitzvah is building the sukkah. Building the sukkah itself. Now that's really affects us. We have to think of this very carefully. Because mitzvah sukkah is so chashuv that it's the mitzvah itself is equal to all the mitzvahs in the Torah of the There are certain number of mitzvahs that are like that. Total of all mitzvahs. The sukkah is special kedusha that is the yichud, the nation of the 2 days of Hashem, which Menachem should take. The sukkah is a special ticket. 3 taivas, the Arizal says, 1 taiva, taivas achila. It's a major taiva too, which was not about eating, but with Arizal fasting, all that. Sukkah is a ticket for the type of eating. Each one of the 3 holidays, Pesach, Shavuot, Simcha, Tikkun. Tikkun is a sunnah from Nachal. Nachal is food. Sunnah Tikkun, a sunnah being not be a Nachal. There's a Tikkun for that type of thing. Sukkah of a cloud is the only mitzvah to do. It's a discussion that we won't go into the details. Let's say the only mitzvah, one of the only ones, where a Jew does the mitzvah completely. Every mitzvah should not, again, there will be one exception. Each mitzvah is done with a certain part of the body. What's filled on your hand, you eat, your mouth, digestive system, matzah. Each thing is done, your mouth speaks, daven. But when you have this where every single part of the body, internal and external, has to perform the mitzvah. The whole body, mitzvah is something. The whole person, right inside the something, is developed, not around with this mitzvah. Try a person to thinking, something in each part of the person's body participates in this eating of yeshiva or something. Just being there, spending time. So, hence, the science, the mitzvah of sitting in the sukkah, eating in the sukkah, is also the preface to the mitzvah, which is the building of the sukkah. That is a separate mitzvah in itself, in which, the Gemara says that the person should take part in it, no matter what status he holds. Be it an old man or a leading citizen in a community. He has servants. It is not fit for him to go into something as low as being a pastor or a tuition. He should go do things like that. It's not fit for his covenant. Or he's an old man. It's not fit for it. Or he's a headman, governing board. In this case, so that each person should not hand it over to somebody else. Do the mitzvah yourself, work on the building of the sukkah, on the laying of the schach, even though he's an honorable person. What is his covenant? He wants covenant. That's the covenant. You're doing a mitzvah, that's the biggest covenant you can have. Because the mitzvah is so great, it will only be fit. So we can stand up or shut down. It's a building of sukkah, building of sukkah. We're still we don't do it because we have the bracha shachyana for the eating of the sukkah, and that will cover us with the building of the sukkah. We say for the kiddush. Sukkah to be made as nicely as possible. The details of building will take up to Shabbos B'Tishah. As I said now, what do we do about it? We eat the usual sukkah. In the first place, we should take part in it by speaking to a representative of this building in Israel. Let's say Mr. Goldstein, and each one should give them a cool $1.25 they want to buy at least part of the sukkah. So our partners in the sukkah, we can eat that. Secondly, each person should do something to what is the most important part of the sukkah, the schach. The schach is not laying right in the sukkah. Each person should take schach and move it a little to improve the position of the schach. How easy you're taking it part of the actual building of the sukkah. By doing that, we've done a part, your part, And that's the only thing we do. We can't go to sucker here, but at least we can take part in the big partial owner. It's a joint venture by everyone, each one paying his share. And secondly, by taking part in the actual building, the most important part of which is the top, so build the top around. And then that would benefit the sucker, which means that you have more shade, the sucker the better. See, this happens to go wide apart. You go together, you made yourself. Better, of course, if there's enough stock around it. It's the pity. See, if there's short of stock there, you should add a number of sticks, number of sticks. But whatever that is, we'll best make the best of it, and you should take part effectively. And you still start building the sukkah, working on it. And the famous sukkah, we left it to sit in the sukkah of R Nosson. Yes, very short halacha. Frankly, for the Old Testament, it says, mitzvah to eat the sukkah bereitza, especially the first night, especially when it's compulsory to eat the sukkah. There's no way out of that one. The whole discussion about the fact that the Gemara says that if that's a show that rains, that's a show that rains, and that's a show that's not a good sign. It's a show like a person wanting to bring a offering, a gift to the king. The king casts it aside. Surely we reject it. Rain, we offer a korban going out to our homes and sukkah. And then Hashem says, go back to your house. I'll show you what I want you. I want you because you're not in a proper behavior. You don't feel the proper respect, so I don't want your service option. Let's see, that's why we hope eventually, very much that there'll be enough street. We'll have clear weather, it's a short night. But if, in such a case, throughout the sukkahs every day, if it rains, you simply go into the house and you eat. First night, it's compulsory to eat the sukkah. If it rains, it's impossible. At least you have to make kiddush in the sukkah. That's the minute. Once you make kiddush in the sukkah, then you have to wait a fair amount of time. And the fair amount of time means about an hour. So it means you should make kiddush, eat some cake, that's not a hefsek, the sukkah. You cannot make the bracha of the sukkah. You make kiddush yet. You wait about an hour. And if it stops, then you can wash, make it a very cool for sukkah. If Chag Shomer is not, it's impossible to go to sukkah. It's actually almost so important. You wash in the house, and you make the legs in the house, you eat inside, and then, no matter how much rain is coming down, in the sukkah, you go into the sukkah, and you eat a piece of kazayas, like a day rather. Challah in the sukkah, of course the shadow whether you make the bracha or the sukkah or not, very difficult shadow. Let's hope that we don't get to that question at all. But at least what we'll agree upon is that kiddush should be the sukkah, and then at least the kazayas, the kazayas challah should be inside the next week inside the sukkah at the end of the meal. Of course you eventually eat. Let's hope that does not take place. It's not for us to look at what to do like that. Also, the sukkah is supposed to be like the house. That's why the question is raised pretty clearly. How come that the din of sukkah says that you are allowed to eat a small amount outside of the sukkah? But for the first day you make nothing, but outside of the sukkah you eat food or drink anything close to a full meal. But they're not allowed to sleep outside of the sukkah even for 5 minutes. It's nothing at all. You see, the sleep is even more strict than food. Nowadays, people don't sleep in the sukkah at all. How come it becomes so lax? The din is so strict for even eating the sukkah. Kiruv sukkah is eat at the sukkah. Literally, sukkah, literally sleeping. The answer is that because it says Dida, means you should be able to live just as you live in your own house. And if the sukkah is not considered in your own house, you cannot live there, then you're excused. If let's say something happens to the sukkah, there's a flood, you can't live in that place of flood, you're excused. That is sukkah in the sukkah. So nowadays, now climate at least, there is no possibility of sleeping in the sukkah unless you get a very hot night, for one thing. The second reason is that you don't have any privacy in the sukkah, in most cases, majority cases. So, why it's impossible to sleep there. If you happen to have a private home with a sukkah in the back, it's literally cordoned off, nobody can see it, then if the weather is that warm, it will be very, very sleep. If you sleep in the sukkah, it's possible. Again, it's possible. There are days that are very much not on it. There are days are needed. So he said this way to sleep in the sukkah especially. What's the day you leave? The purpose is to find the handicapped fruits of that segment of the Jews. When Jews are stuck in the sleeping, they have to find some kind of a head there. And it shouldn't be how the hindering is so many Jews going to be destroyed. Since we have that head there of these esteemed posek, that's why we're doing it today. Probably the vast majority of Jews not to sleep in the sun. Again, if a person has a private home, he's able to. As it is, for example, the weather is good. Most times, not too cold. It wasn't too cold to drop to sleep in. Not too cold is most Jews make sleep in the sun. Let's hope that we'll be able to put in sukkah the Yosman, sukkah that will have real after the Mashiach comes. See the simcha of Rosenfeld single in the So we spoke about the union of the tzadik emes, where Hashem HaKadosh was histalik, and the dinners that they closed, the Jews stopped learning for 30 days. That's the period of mourning. There's no yeshiva. Yeshivas are closed because learning is simcha, and this is mourning. Hashem HaKadosh was histalik. They closed the yeshivas in heaven because they were crying in heaven over his histalikos. It's difficult to understand. He was there, he was with them, he was close, but yet they were. Now, what is the greatness of the tzaddik emes that is getting into such a feeling, deep feeling in heaven? The answer is that Hashem himself gives a mashal. If a general, a commanding general, say a viceroy who is second to the king, stands in front of the king, he stands at attention. If at that time something interesting goes by, he doesn't turn away to look at it. He doesn't, if he sees that there's good food on his side, he doesn't walk over to eat that food. He doesn't partake of anything. There's no taiva at all that can draw him away. He's standing before the king. It can never happen. That's because the general stands before the king for a few minutes and he's free to partake of this taiva later. A tzaddik emes consider himself shebisi Hashem Renegi Summit. Always, I'm always standing in front of Hashem. Hashem is always before me. How is it possible then to have a different taiva? Do something wrong, to think of anything else, to think or to do or to desire anything, and I'm standing before Hashem constantly. This is the life of a tzaddik. That's why a tzaddik who is that close to Hashem always, the closer you are to Hashem, the closer Hashem is to you. This is the tzaddik emes, and as we said to the union of sukkah, in a sukkah, we say the sukkah is Einish Shel Yosef. The sukkah itself, again, requires the Buddha's tzaddikim, because in the Torah itself we would never really know what kind of a sukkah to have, the karka, the chavruta, all these detailed laws. Yet we find that Chachamim themselves and their limud, they determine the laws of sukkah. One, for example, very interesting limud, for one who understands, it's one that he would, when you say Yiddish chapis bailas. Then it says that a sukkah, we figure, is supposed to have 4 walls, complete sukkah. 4 walls, one of the walls has a door in it. He says that because you have the word sukkah spelled with a vav, The Vav stands for a wall. Samach Vav Chav Hey is Sukkah, a wall. Sukkah, without a Vav, Samach Chav Hey, also the posek in the Torah, that stands for a wall missing. So we have the word Sukkah spelled two ways, and when we total it up, we find that it requires two with walls and one without. One that is one partially, one completely without. It requires three walls. The sukkah requires three and not four. One wall is not necessary. If you have a sukkah shaped with a ches, it's enough. But the chiddush is that even if you have the sukkah with the shape of a ches, and one of the walls is missing, just a little drop is there. Just a part of it. As soon as a pesach is called, like a doorway, but the rest of the wall is missing, it's okay. Meaning if you have 2.5 walls, it's also okay. This thing more lines out from the sukkah is with the Rav Zohar. Remember again, you have 2 walls, all ones, and 1/2 of a wall. It is understood that this is b'diavad. Why don't all people make 2.5 walls? B'diavad, this is kosher. 2.5 walls. It is better, of course, to have the third wall complete. You have 3 solid walls. That's wall l'chatchila. The most l'chatchila is to have a solid sukkah b'shleimus. B'shleimus, dalet tfanes, 4 walls. It stands for the dalet yesodus. You have 4 foundations solid. You're inside. It stands, of course, for the closed bina. Sukkah is bina. It's the closed on all 4 sides. So I think I want to say that note the kedusha of the Torah. Arizal says that if you take a lion, look at a lion, you see what's all about the lion, right? See every single fact. A lion roars, a lion has power, a lion has extremely good eyesight, everything about the lion. If a person never sees a lion, but he sees the Hebrew word Aleph Resh Yud, Aryeh, Aleph Resh Yud Kei, he will know everything about the lion there is to know, the shape, the form, the nature, everything, if he understands the Eisiyah. The Eisiyah is so holy that if a person has that Havana, he can understand everything about the lion. The same thing with any item in the world. Take any item, the word Adam, everyone else says, what's Adam? 3 letters. He can tell the nature of every single person in existence just by those words. Why? Because the letters of the Torah are so great that they contain infinite amounts of wisdom. Note here, again, one of the Shivim Panot Torah, one of the reasons why we have this word. Sukkah is spelled Samach Chav Hey, right? In this word you have all the halachas. L'chatchila Samach. 4 corners, 4 walls. You can't get it, take the Chav, which is 3 walls. You can't get that, the Hey, which is 2 walls and a half. So in the word Sukkah, you have all these halachas of the Sukkah itself. Show, in those words, the kedusha, that the Isis of the Torah, the words of Hashem compose the words. In these words are the Ratzon Hashem, will of Hashem, and that's why the mitzvah of Sukkah is that the proper Sukkah, 4 walls, a person goes into and closes himself completely, the walls around it. In the center, this is the true bina. The picture of a mikveh, the Aharon Son mikveh, Tikuney Zohar shows the kudah haprivis inside the mem, so they closed 4 walls. The person goes into a sukkah, and it's like a mikveh. Come inside now, you really get wet. The sukkah is metaher. Sukkah is the only covered. Sukkah is bina, which is Ima Mesakta Salmanin. Bina is the Ima, the mother who hovers and protects her children, and the zechus of sukkah is such that it's metaher and mechaber. So, a person who's the kind of this of sukkah, the simcha, the shleimus, receives that tara, receives that protection from the Shekhinah Kadosh, which is Shekhinah Ilah, the upper Shekhinah. And that Shekhinah Ilah is presented by the tzadik emes. Arizal is bina, Arizal is nachal levei mikra chachma. And that word, Arizal says, Arizal megala. Where does the word come from? Nachal levei mikra chachma. Chachma is abu mikra chachma. That's bina. Nachal is the yesod of bina. The meaning of nachal is bina. Arizal brings that. That's where Bina's name comes from. Is the yesod of bina, tzadik of bina, and that's the Mechina tzadik emes and das. We should be zecher, especially today. There's a school of it. The kusha, the kurev. The Arizal, we said, that Arizal Sasha should be us strong ties. Arizal once speaking to the Arizal, says that I tricked you. I got you into the sack. I put you into the sack, and now you're mine. Arizal was not attached to the cushion. He went to one place and another. And said, I got you now. I put you into the sack. You, that Arizal, put you both into the sack. I got you in my sack now. He said it for a very deep thought. So Arizal said, Arizal pleaded. He cried out, Arizal. Then he said, please tie that sack tight with a knot that can never open up. Hold us forever. And that's our question now. To Rabbi Arizal should be kiruv and Chassidus. Now, ever after this, Rabbi should be zecher to a true, skashas to Rabbi Arizal. This Hibula, we should be zecher that Tzchus the young man of Kol Yisrael to achieve, to realize the Yerushalmi B'Hela. The meaning of the Na'anuim, mitzvah of the Daled Minim, is the Tilas Lulav, say the Bracha, and also mitzvah of Na'anuim, the shaking. This is brought both in the Gemara and in the Zaydik Kodesh. Slightly different versions. The Gemara says that what is the reason why it is so major a mitzvah to shake the Lulav? Lulav, of course, includes all four. We say Lulav, it means Lulav. And the other is because we use the word lulav, the bracha tilas lulav, and actually the tilas are bo minim. Because lulav is the tallest of all, so we give it deference. What is the reason for the tilah? This na'anuim, shaking. And what's the reason to shake it in all four directions, plus up and below? It says because this is to show that we crown Hashem. We recognize the Marucha of Hashem, the Malchus of Hashem, everywhere in all four directions, above and below, just as we have the Malchus Shemayim, the Kriya Shema, we say Hashem Echad. Echad is Aleph, means Hashem is one, Aleph means one, Ches means 8. 8 means the 7 heavens above and the earth below. That's 2 directions. The Dalet is 4 directions, east, south, north and west. These are the reasons why we shake the lulav. We point it in that direction. We shake each place we point to show that there Hashem is everywhere. Hashem is king everywhere. Now the order of this, these are Nuim, the order of directions are, according to the Mechaber, the Yosef, and the Arizal. They're both Mechatonim. Children marry each other, live at the same time, they're contemporaries. And the Chaver holds that the movement, the order must be always, the Jew should always turn to the right. So here he turns perpetually right, which means that the first place he directs it at is ahead. The head is Mizrach, east. Then 1/4 turn to the right, you standing facing east, the right is always south. That's the Chesed call. Again, if you're turning to the right, you have west. So it's east, south, west, and again north, and continue an actual circle the person makes back to where he's standing. Then he goes up and down. That's the order of the Mechaber, Manil, and Arizal, of course, says you go according to the Syrians, which means Chesed, Kiruv, right, left, center is the Fetus, and then the right and the Malchus is the last, up, down, and every direction. So that's the Machagis of the Nanu, and the direction, of course, we follow Arizal, because that's the Escalas, revelation, the Zaydik Kodesh and the Sweetest. Now, note also that we go in 6 directions. Each direction, we first point in the direction, we shake the lulav 3 times, we bring it back, it's called Halacha and Tevah, forward and reverse. 3 times ahead, 3 times back, a total of 6. 6 means that you have in all 6 directions, this total of 6 naturally that is considered only 3. We do it halacha as well, but it's considered only one action. You cannot separate one from the other. And it says that we have a total of 3, and we have a total of 6 directions and 3 special times we shake it, which means 18 times. And we take the lulav with this, and we shake it a total of 18 times, and over the nanun. So that is agreed upon, these 18 times. And of course, it's a mystery as to why. 18 for life, it gives tzedakah. And the Zohar explains that Arizal goes into more detail. 18 times because the lulav stands for the tzadik yesod, the sfiras yesod. We know that there is the Eitz Hadas, tree of wisdom, which is Tayv Bara, good and bad, two sides to it. And the Eitz HaChayim, tree of life, that's the pure perfection. What is the tree of life? First, each of that he finds the elixir of youth. What does tree of life mean? Tree of life means simply the knowledge of Torah to perfection. Hadas means the knowledge with suffix, good, bad, kosher, puzzle, chayim, potter, these 6 means of machlokes. It's a chayim means the Eitz Chayim, it's a chayim, tree of life. This is what the lulav stands for. Lulav begimatria chayim, life. That's why chayim is chay. Tzadik yesod is known as chay b'chol. So tzadik yesod is chay b'rachos. That's represented as chay b'rachos. For the sake of tzadik yesod, the yesod chay b'rachos. Therefore, since the lulav is chayim, lulav is tzadik yesod. Therefore, there are chay 18 anot. Interestingly, there's a kasha which is brought. And it tells us too. There's no answer given, because there could be answer. The question is not left as one that's perplexing. But it doesn't matter if it's answered or not. It's still a fact that the Zohar says that we must have a total of chesed. And the Gemara says you have in all directions, Mamach Hashem, and also to bring down a shefa of chesed of kindness from heaven. That's what the Gemara says. To do that, the Zohar says, to make a total of 72 nanun, 4 times. You have the lulav, each time you make 18 nanun total, 6 directions times 3 is 18. You do this 4 times, the halal, bracha, you have a total of 4 times 18 is 72, which is begimat the chesed. The Zohar says that this chesed, 72, so the Fedish refers to once in the sukkah, once in the tilas lulav, and 3 times in the halal. Once Hayel Hashem in the beginning, on Hashem Mashina, and Hayel Hashem. Arizal says that 72 is in the halal alone, besides the tilas lulav. You have twice on Hashem Mashina, and twice Hayel Hashem Kitayim, is a total of 72. That's besides the tilas lulav. The bracha itself is a separate mitzvah, of the nanun. That's what seems to be a steamer between the Zohar and Arizal, and of course, in those cases we take for granted. No, we take for granted. Zohar Arizal says only 3 times in Halal. Arizal came much later. It came after the Aharon, after the 2 Chassidut, after the Achmedim. Latest of the is the first of the one of the Achmedim. The borderline. So compared to Tanoim, compared to Rabbi Nachman, how can we compare it? Yet, in this case, we have that Arizal was considered the only authority on the Zohar Kodesh. The Zohar Kodesh is one thing, and it's a different thing. We do not consider that machlokes. We consider it that we do not understand the Zohar Kodesh, and Arizal does. And if we're going to take the Zohar Kodesh to our understanding, we know more than Arizal has shown. So if we understand the Zohar Kodesh 73 times altogether, but Arizal understands differently. We assume, we are sure, we are certain. But there is no machlokes between the two. Arizal understands the Zohar Kodesh better, and this is what the Zohar Kodesh means, although according to what we see, it seems different. It seems, it appears, and our eyes cannot really see what appears to us, of course, is an illusion, and it's a false one. That's why we do follow the Arizal in this case. We make 72 nanun, and the halal besides the 18 in the bracha. And these dalad minim, we say, tilas lulav. They must go together. They not separate the 4. The person does not have the 4 minim. The question as to whether he has one being missing. whatever is hadassim, whether he could make the bracha. Of course, he cannot say the bracha, except in certain outstated cases. We're trying to discuss this today with Menachem. I think it is that we should be zecher with the hour and the anuin, do with the right kavanah, fulfill the mitzvah of the Bamlech, the Hashkochel, Kol HaLam Kulay, with the Amshich, the Goli Shefa, the Yena, and that's the first we should say, yes, Shiach the kiruv, and Menachem Mendel, just the last few words of the halachas of Lulav. Halacha says that mitzvah of Lulav is one that must come in the morning. If you want to say Megillah, this is one of the mitzvahs, special mitzvah that comes early in the morning. It starts in the morning, and since this mitzvah starts in the morning first, therefore, it must come before eating. There's a posek in the Torah which says, Adam, you're not supposed to eat on blood. Blood means a person's soul. It means your soul comes before the food. You learn from there that you're not allowed to eat before davening, before you are mispalel, before you're neshon. Because of this, there are many discussions brought in the Shulchan about that. We once had a long share on this topic, and it's important to repeat and stress. Those who may not have heard about this, there are some people who maintain that to taste something before davening in the morning is permissible. Not to eat regular, but to taste. There are some who go so far, which extremes to say you're allowed to eat also cake, which is considered a regular meal. Some who say that, and their reason is that the davening is more important. In fact, they're famous, very famous for this saying. Their motto is better to eat for the sake of davening, which means you eat first, you can have kavona, you're not hungry, or the davening, rather than daven for the sake of eating, rather than daven quick because you think you might go to eat. This is their motto. Very admirable, but of course it's nice, but against the din, what's nice about it? The fact is, the din is that the halacha, you're not supposed to eat before davening. It's according to most places, the majority. It's an halacha law. There are some who say that you're allowed to take a drink of liquid without sugar in it. If he knows our phrase that I had to drink a liquid without sugar, with sugar is also. He brings cases from very strong cases about those who claim that the Arizal was once seen drinking something before davening. So he said that this was a false testimony because there was one time the Arizal was ill, very ill, and they had to take medication. Not medication, they had to take some nourishment. And therefore, at that time, the mitzvah of taking care of one's health when one is ill precedes every other mitzvah in the Torah, except three. So that's why there's no, you cannot testify falsely. Regularly, the Arizal would never have tasted anything, just as Arizal says, Arizal stresses, that in his lifetime he never drank water, his whole life he never drank plain water before davening. Weekdays, Shabbos, he never drank water before davening. And this, of course, there are some who say, this is strict, extreme Islam. It's very few who say it, of course. It's only those who don't know. Because it's not a one single individual unilateral opinion. This is the Fedish Zaydik Kodesh. Zaydik Kodesh states very emphatically, you cannot eat or drink anything, you cannot taste anything before davening. So here we have it then, there are two halachas which have the same thing should apply. One is the mitzvah of lulav, where it says in the Fedish, it is forbidden to taste anything at all, eat before lulav. Unless a person lives in a town where there is no lulav and esrog, and he's got to ride to a different distant city, so he's not required to fast more than till noontime. At least he should fast till noontime, not to eat before lulav. He can't get one, at least wait till noontime to show that he's trying his best. It's in the case of emergency. Ordinarily, otherwise, in no condition does a person eat before he mentions esrog. This same thing, that of course most people would agree to. It's a very delicate point, a very delicate topic, this issue, where the Shaila comes up when a person could taste anything, which means to make Kiddush before blowing shofar, before Tkiyah shofar. This is a very delicate topic, and we find that people maintain, since shofar ends at 2 o'clock, sometimes later, it's difficult for a person to fast until 2 o'clock, so they should permit making Kiddush after Shachris, which is about 11, 12 o'clock, just Kiddush, and then they'll be going through the rest of the time with the Tkiyas. This is, there are some will do that, some will say that, some will do that, and of course it's the Rav of Breslov themselves, this is where the greatest controversy comes up, as to whether a person may make Kiddush before Tkiyas. I've seen both sides of the fence, and I very much adhere to, admitting that Arizal kept to very strictly. The Father Shalom was extremely strict at this point, and tzaddikim of today are also one in unison that a person should not make Kiddush before blowing shofar. Even though there are many, you go to a Breslov million, not over here, this places, pure. You go to a different section of this borough, you'll find that they make Kiddush before Musaf, before Tkiyas, and those who have experienced davening here find it very, very distasteful to see something like that. You're used to something real good, like Arizal says, when you close that in, you taste the Hungarian wine, it's called a good wine, Canadian wine, you don't go for anything else. So, therefore, in Eretz too, both places, Shloim and Iran, you have these two schools of thought, these two factions, and you find that you don't eat or drink before shofar, you're in a very, very good company. This is something which cannot be helped sometimes. A person is not of perfect health. As a shalom, as long as a person is fairly well, he should adhere to this rule. And to always keep in mind, Arizal said these words, I never drank water before davening. It's a very important point, especially since there aren't many mitzvahs we can do fully, completely. At least this one mitzvah, adhere to it, try to emulate, copy the great tzaddik. Especially, as I said, of people I've seen through the years, people who ridicule Chas v'Shalom, criticize it, and then later I found it in the Zohar Kodesh, that those words, so not that we essentially doubt, but the thing is that the flag can be given to those outsiders that it is not necessarily the rest of the meaning. It's very good assess on the Fedish, and it's an extremely good item to adhere to, very strict. We should be zeichet to fulfill this item purely because that's, in that manner, the person is sure that at least until the Gemara says, until you first offer food to Hashem. This point is extremely important because food means you bring a sacrifice of an animal, you place it on the mizbeach, the altar, and then it's burnt. It's a burnt offering, goes up to Hashem. Kaviyachal. It's as though you offer a king a special food offering, a food gift. As though. Again, as though. We do not have the Beis Hamikdash today. So the Torah says in the Shalma Kodim, Tzvaseinu, our lips, Tefillah, give Hashem cows, oxen. Just like the covenant of oxen and Mizbeach, that's our words of Tefillah today. The Gemara says, first give the food to Hashem, which means the first thing is called David Hashem, these words which constitute food, then put food in your own mouth. That's the true respect to Hashem. Which means have to fulfill this mitzvah, the shleimus. That tzachus will have to find favor in the eyes of Hashem, showing Hashem the proper respect, and will then purify also our guf to be like our neshama. That's what we should see the Dias of Mashiach, the Beis Hamikdash, we can bring these korbanos actually ahead of me.